Hey, come see us on tour. We're going to be in Los Angeles, Columbus, Ohio, Dayton, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Lexington, Kentucky, Burbank, California, and Honolulu. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.
All right. So, friend of show Bill Gates was recently hit with a lawsuit. Our friend Nico House did a little video about it. Let's take a look.
Gates has been ordered to stand trial in the Netherlands after he's been accused of misleading the public about the safety of COVID-19 vaccines. He's going to have to stand trial after 7 defendants who suffered from vaccine injuries accused Gates of misleading the public. Oh, but it isn't just Gates, ladies and gentlemen. 17 defendants, along with the former Dutch Prime Minister and current Secretary General of NATO, are going to have to stand trial as well. Oh, but it isn't just 17 individual defendants. It is the actual state of the Netherlands that will also have to stand trial. Now, of course, Gates tried to argue that he's not subject to the jurisdiction of the Dutch courts. However, due to his proximity to many of the people in the Dutch government and his proximity to many of the people involved in the COVID vaccine initiative, the Dutch courts ruled, nah, bruh, you ain't getting up that easy. We see exactly where that money been going. You gonna have to bring your ass over here. What makes this revelation even a bit stranger is the fact that just a couple of days ago, after this indictment was announced, Bill Gates gave $50 million in dark money to the Kamala Harris campaign. And it's important to note, Bill Gates said that he basically never gives money, but this election is different. Maybe someone's trying to buy himself some immunity from when all this shit hits the fan. All I know is, although Fauci and Bill Gates and these pharmaceutical companies may be immune in the US to any punitive damages that they owe to those who have been vaccine injured, it looks like the rest of the world isn't having that shit. And as more information begins to come out about exactly how much damage these vaccines have done, expect to see more headlines like this and hopefully more people being held accountable, because it's about damn time.
Amen. So finally, something is being done about this. I personally, I attribute this to the vaccine. I have like almost a little paralysis here, but you have people who have experienced much worse. And at this point, that's not like a conspiracy theory. I just shared an article the other day with you and Jimmy. I think it was BBC, where they're talking about somebody who's got just excruciating headaches and fatigue. And in this country, they can't be held accountable, but that doesn't apply to the world. So keep in mind, this is not criminal. This is civil. But still.
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, that these so-called side effects you speak of are very, very rare, and that generally speaking, the vaccine is safe and effective. And while it does not stop the spread, it does slow it down, and it'll keep you out of the hospital, keep you from getting seriously ill or dead. So make sure you keep that in mind throughout this segment, because I don't know what the Netherlands are thinking here, impugning the character of one Bill Gates. You know, every Bill Gates product works exactly the way it's supposed to.
Yes.
I've never had a problem printing a document off of a Windows computer. Right? I've never gotten the F:// error
Windows
preload query full. Notice whenever there's a Windows error, you see how bad they cuck you, how much disrespect they have for you. You tell a Windows operating system to do something, it doesn't do it half the time. This is what I mean. Like, you trust this guy to make a vaccine. Microsoft does not work. It was never ready for market. Half the time you tell a Microsoft system to do something, it doesn't fucking do it, right? And not only do they give you some cockamamie reason, error, C:/drive full, whatever, then they cuck you, they humiliate you. The only recourse you have when that happens is to click OK. They have a big button in the middle that says OK, push it. You have to hit OK or you can't do anything else. You can't do anything else until you accept that this system did not do what it was supposed to do.
This is the veritable Windows 10 of vaccines.
If Apple made a vaccine, it would be flawless. We should have had, what's his name?
Flawless and stylish.
Steve Jobs should have made a vaccine. If Steve Jobs created a vaccine, not only would it work perfectly, but the process of getting one would just be amazing. You'd walk in to this sleek, modern location, a ripped guy in a blue polo would come up to you. You're here for the vaccine? Yeah, I'm here for the vaccine. First name, date of birth? Okay, you're done. Wait, you mean done? Like I'm ready to get the shot? No. You have the vaccine. That's it. You're done. No needle? No. You tell me your name. I put it in. That's it. It's in. Goodbye. Be on about your way. And you'd live forever. You'd live forever. Instead, we got this. Instead, the Microsoft guy, made the vaccine.
We got Jimmy's okay to do the Apple product placement because he's not seeing any of that cash.
He might be. Maybe he's in the market for a new sponsor. I don't know.
That's for us. My best. Maybe.
Yeah. The iVax. That's what it would be called.
The iVax.
Yeah.
A Dutch court ruled on Wednesday that billionaire and global vaccine proponent Bill Gates must stand trial in the Netherlands for allegedly misleading the public about the safety of COVID-19 vaccines during the pandemic time. I like that, the pandemic time. It's very sci-fi. According to reports, 7 plaintiffs claim to have suffered injuries from the vaccines and sued Bill Gates along with former Dutch Prime Minister and current NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, members of the Dutch government's COVID-19 outbreak management team, Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla, and the Dutch state itself. According to Dutch newspaper De Telegraaf, the plaintiffs filed the lawsuit last year, naming Gates, who is one of the experts who made several claims about the COVID experimental vaccines. Quote, "We aren't sure which vaccines will be the most effective yet, and each requires unique technology to make," says Bill Gates, co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. "That means nations need to invest in many different kinds of manufacturing facilities now, knowing that some will never be used. Otherwise, we'll waste months after the lab develops an immunization, waiting for the right manufacturer to scale up," Bill Gates said in his article written in the year 2020. He also, by the way, it's not mentioned in this, but everyone's supposed to take the vaccine, right? But he lied and said that they couldn't release the formula for it because other non-Western countries don't have the facilities to make the vaccine, which is complete, total, utter bullshit. And there's no way that he did not know that.
No, they make generic versions of every medicine.
Of course. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, Pakistan, they have no facilities. In that whole part of the world, they don't know how to make medicines. According to the law, and that really shows you this kind of underlying colonial racism. Because why would that be plausible to people? Because really, subconsciously, they feel like those people are inferior. Otherwise, why would you believe? I mean, India's got a major tech center. Like, why would you believe that they can't make medicines there? If you give them the formula, they don't. Why would you believe that?
Right. Well, no, of course. I mean, that's how medicine becomes, accessible to the extent that it is here in the U.S., where people go bankrupt because they can't afford medicine. When a patent expires, these facilities around the world are allowed to make generic versions of a name brand medicine, and then the pharmacies sell them way cheaper than they would whatever the name brand is, and that's how ordinary people get their hands on them. Otherwise, I mean, even the copays on lots of these pills would just be, like way, way, way too high for normal people to get their hands on. So the idea that you couldn't do that with a vaccine that you're, of course. Planning on mass producing, right? That was the whole idea behind it. Obviously, you have the production capacity to do that. That was the most obvious thing in the world.
But the libs love him. The libs love him. He gets asked about Epstein. He falls apart in front of a camera. He lies about the capacity to manufacture vaccines.
Again, what is there to love about the guy? His product before the vaccine, Microsoft, they suck. They suck. His products have never worked. The guy has never produced a product that works.
He functioned as an unelected health czar, and they're all of a sudden freaking out. Oh, Jeff Bezos controls what the Washington Post says. He fucking owns it. Genius. It wasn't a problem when Jack Dorsey was running X. That was okay. You didn't mind unaccountable billionaires running things then. They have no problem with unaccountable billionaires. Even the most horrible people on earth who make defective products, as you point out.
I go to print the page right now off my Mac. I get a piece of paper with a printed page on it, 30 seconds. I hit that button on one of Bill Gates' machines. I grew up on Microsoft. I grew up assuming my printer didn't work because I was relying on a Microsoft system to send the signal to the goddamn printer.
Family connections, man.
Yep.
According to the lawsuit, the agenda included pushing vaccines that were known to be unsafe. Well, that's just crazy talk. Everyone knows they're safe and effective.
Yeah, this is all we just want them to be even better. That's why I say if Steve Jobs had made it, it would have been even better. It's not that they're not great; they are great. We want them to be even better. This is just constructive criticism. That's all this is.
Many people who have taken the vaccines have reported mastering dance steps that had always eluded them before. The plaintiffs also claimed they were deceived into taking the dangerous injections, and the consequences have been devastating. Physical and mental injuries have allegedly plagued them since receiving the vaccines. They claimed that Gates made false statements about the vaccines, including that they would stop transmission, prevent illness, and eliminate the need for masks. One of the 7 plaintiffs has reportedly died since the initial filing, leaving 6 others to carry on the fight against Gates and others.
Now, we don't know if that was a vaccine injury. That could have been lead poisoning, if you know what I mean.
Could have been. Well, I understand Boeing had a piece of this vaccine, too.
Yeah.
The ordinary Dutch citizens whose identities have been redacted from the court documents say they trusted the vaccine narrative and are now paying the price. As per the reports, Bill Gates tried to get rid of the case, but the court rejected Gates's attempt to dismiss the case, citing jurisdiction issues as an American citizen. So there you go. Bill Gates being sued. According to the reporting, he's going to have to appear in court to testify. And this, I think, is only the beginning. You're seeing more and more cases where crazy people who don't realize how safe and effective this vaccine is are coming out and claiming injuries that even mainstream media, corporate media, is starting to report as being based in the vaccine. Now, I don't know why suddenly corporate media might be reporting that these safe and effective vaccines are legitimately causing horrible injuries in some people, but we are starting to see that kind of reporting. And if they have found this way in the Netherlands that Bill Gates can be sued for misrepresenting the vaccine, that may be the first case of its kind. It certainly will not be the last.
Hey, today's economic environment is still really stressful for a lot of us. But with the Fed finally dropping interest rates, there is no better time than now to put you and your family in a better financial position. If you're a homeowner, American Financing is helping thousands of families just like you who have been putting everyday expenses on credit cards get out from underneath that debt by tapping into their home's equity. American Financing is saving their borrowers over $800 a month on average. $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 raise at work. And it costs absolutely nothing to find out how much you can save. They are closing some in as little as 10 days. And if you start today, you may not have to make next month's mortgage payment. There is no better time than now to turn your situation around. Call today, 888-804-0303. That's 888-804-0303, or visit AmericanFinancing.net/Jimmy. Hey, come see us on tour. We're going to be in Los Angeles, Columbus, Ohio, Dayton, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Lexington, Kentucky, Burbank, California, and Honolulu. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.